All right, so everyone, please welcome Trisha. Trisha is talking about corporate sponsorship for your Lunar programs.
Thanks so much. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining today. I hope all of you are doing fantastic. So I want to give you a little bit of a macro overview of corporate sponsorships and how to kind of put together the proposals, some of the things to think about while you're putting the proposal together for your programs. And then I'd really like to dive into questions on, if you have a program and you're wondering, how to package it and what to do. I'd love to kind of dive into some details on how to address that. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start my screen share. So the topic of the chat today is corporate sponsorships for your Lunar programs. My name is Trisha Navidzadeh, and I am the principal of Space Marketing Group. We help projects on the space side connect with corporations on the sponsorship side, and also the production side. And on the other side, we connect corporations with concepts, programs, ROI models on their interest in participating in space programs. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and start. Today, I'd like to share with you, three macro points. Number one, the value of Lunar sponsorships for partnerships, how to package your Lunar programs for corporate sponsors and programs, and finally, some key points to remember in this process. So, just to step back just a little bit, obviously we don't need to reiterate that space is very valuable in terms of content, brand association, and all the above. And so we can kind of skip through that. So the value of Lunar sponsorships, the value in these sponsorships for you specifically for your programs, whether they're robotics, research and development, manned or satellite, etc., research, any sort. The value for you in connecting with sponsors is obviously the financial support mitigates risk for all your stakeholders. Secondary is content partners, as far as being able to capture video of your mission to the moon, on the moon, doing the research, etc. All of that content is really valuable in terms of how a corporate partner can package that, turn that into a commercial, movie, documentary, etc. I think there's a lot to be said there, and we're going to circle back on that. And third, but not last, technology assets and R&D support, program expansion. So what I'm really referring to this in terms of a value for you with technology partners is, say for example, you have a robotics program and you have some research and development that's already tied in. You kind of find maybe one technology partner that says, hey, I'd really like to add, a sensor or something like that for something that we're interested in learning more about. And so there's all sorts of technology expansion partners that you can potentially add on to your mission if it's not too much trouble. In addition to that, obviously there's so much research and development to be derived off of these missions to the moon, and perhaps there's some parallels between what you're seeking in terms of results and intel from the moon that another partner could also benefit from. And so those are some benefits on your side of why you should connect with a partner. On the corporate partners, the content is probably, the most valuable asset to them in terms of partnering on a mission to space or the moon. That content can be turned into a live stream opportunity for them, for their end users. It could be turned into commercials. It could turn into, YouTube videos, all sorts of really fun stuff. So how that content is captured, derived, and leveraged can sort of be the return on investment for your corporate partner. And that's how you can turn a program into a commercial model, even if there's not a lot of commercial activities that's planned. And I hope that makes sense, please let me know if you have questions on that later. Secondly, value for your partners to collaborate with you on space activities is obviously education, research and development, and all the things that you're all, I'm sure, pretty familiar with. Third and last is brand association. Space is obviously, really cool. It garners worldwide audiences, and any brand that can connect with a space project right now can really get in the spotlight as far as their competitive matrix. It's just pretty cool. It's really, a new era that we're going into, and there's definitely a positive brand association with it versus a lot of other activities that have already been done. So moving on, I hope I'm not going too fast. I just want to make sure we have lots of time for questions. So I'm going to go down a quick list of things that you should consider in putting together, consider putting in your proposal and your packaging of your mission for corporate partners and other types of partners. And so first you want to identify, your value propositions, whether it's R&D, robotics, manned, whatever. You want to identify, all the value propositions that would be of value to an outside party, an end user, someone that is not within the research community that is associated with you. So value propositions like, our robot is going to the moon. It's going to be a really exciting flight to the moon, launch to the moon. It's going to be exciting for it to land on the moon, and then it's going to walk around the moon. All of those are kind of value propositions because they provide opportunities for content. They provide opportunities for someone to put their logo with yours and be able to share that with their end user audience. And so you want to derive some value propositions, and there's so many of them, but maybe pick out, the top 5. And secondly, you want to map out your mission, which you probably already do, but you want to do it in relation to how will a corporate partner be able to leverage those milestones with you. For example, if your milestones are separated into launch, landing, research, data transmission, etc. All of those are key milestones that your partners will benefit from. And so you want to lay those out in a very simple way that depending on who you're targeting. Last but not least, who would be your perfect partners? I think everyone intuitively knows a little bit about, maybe Coca-Cola is my perfect partner, or consumer brands, or a financial company, or maybe an energy company, etc. So you want to kind of think about, 10 to 12 partners or even industry categories that you think would be your perfect scenarios to partner with you. And so first thing to do is identify all those key points. Moving on. You want to develop your pitch. And so when you're developing your pitch, you want to think about your ROI models for that prospect. And so by that, I mean, are they going to be able to make money off of the content derived? Are they going to be able to make money off of some type of commercial model? Maybe you have a 3D printer that you're sending up to the moon. Think about how they can make an ROI off of their initial investment. And when you think of that, you want to be able to almost insinuate that here are opportunities for you to potentially make money. And that is, a key factor in pitching, because you're telling them how they can make money from your project from the concept phase, from the onslaught. And so we can go into further detail on that later as well. And secondly, you want to put together a concept, and that kind of means like, you want to tell them what to do. So for example, if you have a manned lunar mission planned and you're just going up there for some research and development, but maybe you have a couple extra hours, Maybe you can approach a company like Red Bull and say, hey, would you guys want to maybe experiment with a new sport, or a new ball, or something that is relevant to them. So if you give them a couple concept ideas on what they can actually do on the moon, and not leave it up to them, because they don't know the terrain, they don't have the manpower to really come up with those ideas. So give them some ideas, and it'll give them an opportunity to create their own or be inspired, and it'll open the conversation. So that is on the development side of your pitch. And finally, create your pitch, right? So you want to create at least 3 different proposals, and you want to create those 3 proposals for 3 different category of partners. One of them is going to be a straight sponsorship, like maybe they just want to throw a logo on there, maybe a little bit more, but it's straight sponsorship. And we call that, brand association sponsorship, kind of like, the Olympics, where logos go on everything and all that fun stuff. The second is your media and production partners. Those are folks that will help you capture content, distribute content, transmit content. So those guys aren't always going to want to, pay up front. If they do, fantastic. But to have a production partner from the initial onslaught of your project, your mission, is going to give you, a fantastic advantage as far as finding those paid sponsorships. And last but not least, technology assets and R&D partners, which are, an obvious one. Those I'm sure you already work with. And what you're going to want to put in your proposal is you're going to want to put, obviously, an overview of your mission. A clean, technology-driven overview of this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to do it, and these are the timelines, milestones, and this is the end goal. Secondly, you're going to want to phase out your key milestones, just as I mentioned in the last point. Thirdly, you're going to want to put some ideas in this proposal as far as how they can partner with you, whether it's putting their logo in, whether it's making a commercial, or sending an additional research project on there, or however it is. You're gonna want to put a couple models, concepts, and within those concepts, you have to demonstrate how they can have an ROI from the onslaught, in terms of, hey, if you guys partner with us on this robotics mission and you capture the launch, you can distribute that launch on your YouTube channel, for example, and your customer base, your end users would probably watch, they'd probably love it, and you could potentially make some money off of it if you leverage it correctly. And finally, you want to be able to price out your programs within those phases. So no partner really wants to throw in $1 million at the very beginning. They're going to want to split that up into, at least 5 different, 3 to 5 different payments based on your success rate of those milestones. And I think that's very clear. And my last slide today is just some tips. Never rely on one partner, one source for all of your funding. Obviously, you know that. As far as sponsorships, it's okay if you partner with, say, Google, and they're like, hey, we don't want to give you any money. But if you have that Google name, associated with your mission, you can really leverage that to go get additional paid sponsors. So sometimes it's best to have, 1 or 2 partners, maybe one of them being paid, than to have none. So be flexible with your early bird partners that are interested in working with you, especially if they hop on board at the concept phase. Secondly, sometimes your big sponsors are not going to be the big corporate guys. They're not going to be, massive, distribution companies, content companies, etc. Sometimes it's going to be, as simple as going on a crowdsourcing platform like TrueCrowd or someone like that, search engine. I'm not sure what it is, but those people are, small investors, and they love to participate in space activities, and they really are not going to ask as much back from you as some of your corporate sponsors. So be open to, all different types of sponsorship funding that is not necessarily, VC or et cetera. Thirdly, it's okay to pitch to sponsors in the very, very early stages. This gives them an opportunity to plan ahead. As you know, most brands, corporations, they plan at least 6 months to a year ahead as far as the campaigns they want to run and the partnerships and et cetera. So, as far as, is it ever too early? It's not. We have a project coming up in 3 years, and we're looking for partners, and open up those conversations and help them develop campaigns around your mission, so they can create ROI models that are beneficial to them. And last but not least, always go after a production or media partner first, because those content gathering capabilities will give you an advantage with the rest of the sponsors that you're going to prospect. And with that being said, I'd love to dive into Q&A if anyone has any questions.
Okay, so I guess I have a bit of a question. Going to the moon in sort of like this kind of manner is new, right? Like, it's not like we have a whole bunch of historical context where there's experiments that were going on the moon with corporate sponsorship. How do you sort of break through that when you're talking to a corporate sponsor? There's not really examples you can point to, or maybe there's the other examples in the space industry you could point to, but I guess that, yeah. Does that make sense?
There are examples. I mean, the Apollo mission, those guys played golf. They left like a plethora of artifacts up there. The recent Israeli private robotics mission to the moon, they took water bears up there to see if those guys would stay alive. And so there's all sorts of examples that you can pull out. There's also a lot of examples that you can drive off the International Space Station partnerships. They just did a partnership with Adidas and with Budweiser, and they've done stuff with Nanoracks has done stuff with cookies in space with, I believe, the Hilton hotels. They've done stuff with Apple. And so Samsung just did a project where they did selfies to space. They did it on a balloon, I believe, a balloon partnership. And so there's all, even Red Bull Stratus. And so there's plenty of case studies that you can pull out. It's just a matter of, not scaring them with a big price tag, and making sure that you bring in multiple stakeholders. Maybe you have a content partner, a technology partner, a consumer brands partner, a financial partner. I mean, maybe like a bank partner, energy partners. So it's really the price tag. I think there's a chat question also that
yeah, so the chat from the question from Mike is, do you have an example of a successful sponsorship? Seems hard to sell. So it sounds like you pretty much answered that just then. But it would be good. Is there some resource that we can look at, like a list of examples where this has been done?
Well, I'll give you a really simple one. I did one with Ben Ein, who's like a well-known, artist, a couple of years ago, and he did the largest painting in the world in London on the ground. He painted, this massive mural on the ground, and I partnered with a satellite company, and they captured, the pictures from space, and we partnered with Zippo. And they use that content to promote, whatever they were promoting. And so there's so many things happening like that. I just don't think they get that much, that much play in the media. But yeah, there's There's so many. I mean, Red Bull Stratus is probably the best case study, right? What made that project really unique was it wasn't just the balloon ride that these guys did. It was the fact that they were able to capture the content live and distribute it live. And that's what made the project so special, is because it almost felt, interactive in the sense that people felt like they were there with this project. As far as, the moon, I mean, it seems like the moon is just getting started, but it's not any different than the ISS. I mean, look at all the partnerships ISS National Labs is doing with sponsors, and that's working for them. And slowly but surely, you're going to see a lot more of those coming out as far as the case studies. And so,
we do have another question from Philip. Philip says, if a mission requires some tech research prior to going into space, at what stage would you suggest going for sponsorship funding?
Yeah, I'm not sure about tech research. If a mission requires tech research, I would suggest, as far as when to find your partners, from concept. So if you have a project that is just on paper and you have a team together and you're 2 years out, that's the time you start talking to people. Don't wait until you have a mission date planned or you have a robot built, or don't wait till launch date. Do it from very, very early on, and get those early bird partners on board. And so, yeah. And so, I guess my final note is there's lots of folks that can guide you through this process. If you have just a pure research project or something you wouldn't even think of like pulling partners out for, there's folks like myself and other people that can help you map a proposal out and do outreach to the right folks out there that can partner with you. So.
Okay, thank you very much. That was awesome. Actually, we do have another question from Jennifer. We've got lots of questions coming in. All right, so Jennifer says, what are some examples of corporate brand sponsors that you've worked with previously?
Well, I don't know, 2011, 12, I can't quite remember. I put together the Virgin Galactic Oscars Academy Awards partnership, and that partnership took place on the ground. And so it was a partnership with the Oscars Academy Awards, where they would, get all the Academy Oscars nominees to learn more about, the trips to space on Virgin Galactic, and a lot of them purchased. And so that's one. Another one is the Zippo. And then there's a few that are in progress that I kind of can't talk about, but not everything's going to be in space. And so remember that. And so there's going to be an opportunity for you to do stuff on the ground. For example, if you have like a robot going and you want to do, maybe you have a sponsor that doesn't want to wait 2 years to leverage the project, you can say, hey, let's do, an online chat with some of your customers on our project so they can learn more about how this all works. Or you can do a party with them. They can create a campaign around it without ever, with a project that's like 2-3 years out. So you got to kind of think in terms of a brand and how they would leverage your project in a campaign and not necessarily the mission on its own. So I hope that answers it. And thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Graham.
We do have some other questions. Lauren from Off Planet Research asks, would something like the AME engravings on the rovers be a sponsorship?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's something that, you're not going to be able to charge like a lot for. But, with the engraving, your partner can create a whole thing, on social or on YouTube or whatever around the fact that, they have their logo or something on your rover. And so, and then the rover sends back photos, and they can, say that, hey, this is a rover that we partnered with, or we have our name engraved in it, and they can leverage all that content. So absolutely, it can be something as so simple as that. And then you can also add dimensions to your sponsorship. You can go, okay, now you do the engraving, and now maybe we do like a 30-second commercial for you, where our robot, maybe does like a little circle in or something like that. You can add dimensions to it and different phases to it, where you can potentially just add on cost for them. So in different phases.
Philip is curious about your consulting process. If he has a company and he wants to work with you. So.
Yeah, you know, I'm pretty accessible on LinkedIn, or you have my contact here. The process is basically, you know, understanding more about your project, the timelines, you know, what phase you're in, and what type of funding you're looking for, what type of partners you're looking for, and then, you know, we go back and we put together the proposals, and we reach out to the partners, and you know, if you're going to work with us, I would say give us a year to be able to, you know, put everything together and fetch you sponsors. And so we pretty much do A to Z. We also have an engineering company that we work with if needed. We have a production company that's one of our partners. It's an Emmy award-winning space partner that can handle production. We have engineering that can handle mission management as far as the data that we would need to get back to our partners. And so in a way, we have a lot of resources and dozens of partners that can potentially support your project in addition to the sponsors and so on. So yeah.
Awesome. A world I didn't know about.
Yeah, it's exciting. We gotta get off this planet, right? So
Absolutely.
So excited that this conference happened today, and thrilled that all these folks are working on lunar missions. So
all right, thank you. We have to wrap it up now. So thank you all for attending, and I'll see you around the conference.
thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.